Disclaimer, this commentary is about yet to be unannounced Empire multiplayer portion of the game. There wasn't going to be a second part to this little section, but Kang got me fired up, so here it is. Woo! These are the same comments I used in the previous video, but I will debunk the negative myths and perceptions that people hold about multiplayer that are really hurting the future of it. Please, no multiplayer. We don't need this. They should focus on the graphics and gameplay. I think Assassin's Creed doesn't need a multiplayer. Co-op would work, but I would rather have Ubisoft working on single player. No more multiplayer. They have done it for 4 games consecutively, and it eats up space from the single player campaign. Enough is enough. Look at these comments. I mean, come on. It eats up space from the single player? This is the biggest remark people have whenever an argument needs to be made to not include multiplayer. It's said in different words, but the people are saying the exact same thing. If there was no multiplayer, Ubisoft would have more resources to make a better single player, and that's all they have to say, and everyone takes it as fact. Everyone says it, so it must be true, when in actual fact it's 2 different agencies that handle the single player and the multiplayer. Ubisoft Montreal covers the single player, and Ubisoft Annecy covers the multiplayer. This is a little excerpt from the Ubisoft Annecy Wikipedia page. Initially specialized in simulation, Ubisoft Annecy quickly developed an expertise for multiplayer titles, following the production of Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow's multiplayer. So basically, the people that handle the multiplayer in Assassin's Creed are experts at creating multiplayer elements of the game. Single player fanboys want multiplayer experts to work on Assassin's Creed single player? Really? Next, how many employees work at Ubisoft Montreal, the main studio behind the AC single player? According to their website, 2,600 people. And how many employees work at Ubisoft Annecy? 140. So, single player fanboys want 140 people added to 2,600 people that already work at the main studio. Another thing that is worth mentioning, Ubisoft Montreal was founded in 1997. Ubisoft Annecy was founded in 1996. Just a little fact. But these people still say that they want Assassin's Creed to focus on single player instead of multiplayer, even though it's 2 separate groups that work on each project. But what could Ubisoft do with a few more people that they couldn't already do with the stack of creators they have focusing on single player on a regular basis anyway? Smash it out faster so they can make 2 games a year? Sit around jerking each other off under the computer desk so they don't have to do it themselves? That's a resource saver. Many hands make light work, as they say. I don't think they are lacking staff. Unity and Syndicate dropped without multiplayer, and are those people happy? After all, if there is no multiplayer, it means that Ubisoft would spend more resources on making single player the best. No, but it didn't have multiplayer, so they had to look to another reason. The newest excuse is that it must be because Assassin's Creed is a yearly release, so they instruct Ubisoft to take a break. Take a breather from the annual release so the company can really focus on the franchise and the direction they want to head, because they weren't already trying hard to make a great new game, but now they have the opportunity. Now Ubisoft has 1 or 2 extra years to concentrate on Empire. If Empire is a flop, it will certainly be disappointing for everyone, but what will people say the cause is? We'll have to wait and see. Of course, I hope the next AC game is a masterpiece, but I also hope it has multiplayer. Better make single player, because they can make more with the graphics and shit. And shit. This guy knows what he wants. While multiplayer is shit. Simple and to the point. So simple that he forgets to even say why it's shit. Fuck the multiplayer off. Improve the combat and clunky movement, include all DLC, make a collector's edition, and possibly add some new content, weapons, armor, and I will buy it straight away. This guy doesn't want much, does he? I don't care about multiplayer, I'm all for single player. Never liked multiplayer on AC, so I hope they don't add one on the upcoming one. Another great reason that people lean on when deciding whether multiplayer is something that should be something. They don't like it, so therefore it shouldn't exist. This is the same argument opposing same-sex rights. Gay and lesbian people shouldn't be married because you don't like it. Oh, you don't like it. Then don't get gay married. Don't play the multiplayer. Obviously, same-sex rights is a more serious issue than not having multiplayer in a video game, but the idea is the same. Here we go. No multiplayer was the only good thing in Unity. I think they should reintroduce and improve it, and in terms of futuristic stuff, I like it, but yeah, it doesn't make sense for so far back times, but the rope thing was really cool. Don't tell me hanging people wasn't one of your favorite things to do. I thought this was the stupidest comment I found. No multiplayer was the best part of Unity? I believe the poster meant no to whatever the person in the video was saying, and that co-op was the only good thing in Unity. If the guy punctuated his sentences at all, we wouldn't have this problem. It also makes it harder when people call co-op multiplayer. Would you call Borderlands multiplayer or co-op? I think gamers would say that co-op is PvE, whereas multiplayer is PvP. So to say that Unity co-op is multiplayer is wrong in my opinion. I don't want multiplayer because I'm a completionist and I will need to get to level 50 in that as well. What can I say? Imagine if you could complete every game ever in 2 minutes and it required no time investment to master the game. That would be amazing. I could blow through games like I blew through your... The level cap hasn't been 50 since ACB, so he wouldn't even be completing the game as he says he wants to anyway. No doubt if you told him that, he would say something like, I'm satisfied with completing the game to level 50 because that's where levels roll over to prestige. So he is picking and choosing what completion means. Should this guy be taken seriously? He doesn't even know what he's dealing with or what he's about. The only reason I played Brotherhood's multiplayer is because I was the only person in my area with the jester lol. Oh, the humanity. Be honest. The multiplayer up to Unity was shit. There was no skill, it was just run around and stab everyone. Far from assassin behavior, only when you play it, bro. AC2 is the best game in the franchise, and it doesn't have multiplayer. Well, maybe because Ubisoft had different people making AC2 than AC3. People don't really play Assassin's Creed for its multiplayer though. Ugh. This is the third major remark that adds to the argument of no multiplayer. The old, no one plays Assassin's Creed for the multiplayer. I don't know about you, but I think Teddy Dick is calling me a no one, and I won't stand for that. I feel as though the Assassin's Creed multiplayer community knows the single player and associated factors better than the people who claim single player is all they want in the game. Why? Because they need to. The multiplayer people need to know this information to inform single player diehards who apparently have a stick up their bum and are basing their claims on inaccurate information that multiplayer is independent of single player. All in all, we are dealing with uninformed, opinionated people, and the only way to get them to see the light is through education. Education and beatings.